academic types in America to say McDonald's is the wrong kind of food and it's the wrong kind of this and the jobs don't pay very much and so forth. I have quite a different view. I think McDonald's is one of the most successful educational institutions in the United States. They take people and give them a first job, which enables them to get a second job. They do a very, very good job of educating troubled young people to be good citizens. And they're probably more successful than charter schools. So I am a big fan of McDonald's.
Those people are learning very good habits. They've got to be there at a certain time. They have to learn how to count money and price items, and they have to learn how to smile at people and have happy customers. Charlie went to the public school system in Omaha, as did I.
We will see financial mayhem, as you put it, from time to time. I hope we reduce it. I hope we reduce the magnitude, etc. But people do crazy things, and it's not a function of IQ, and sometimes it's not a function of education. In fact, I would argue that some of the problems, and not a small part of what's occurred in the last 30 years, has been because of what became the prevailing conventional wisdom in the leading business schools. I think it's much more important to have good learning at the elementary level than, frankly, the habit in terms of advanced degrees and graduate schools. Charlie?
Yeah, there are other great educational institutions in America that help handle this problem. One of the ones I admire most is McDonald's. I had fun once at a major university when I said I thought McDonald's succeeded better as an educator than the people in the university did. And what I meant was McDonald's hires a lot of people who are quite marginal at the very start of their working career, and they learn to show up on time for work and observe the discipline. A lot of them go on in employment to much higher jobs, and they've had an enormous constructive effect about educating into responsibility a lot of people who were threatened with not making it. So I think we all owe a lot to the employment culture of McDonald's, and it's not
I would say that in the food business you would never get the total certainty of dominance that you would get in products like Coca-Cola and Gillette. People move around in the food business from where they eat from. They may favor McDonald's, but they will go to different places at different times. And somebody starts shaving with a Gillette Sensor Plus is very unlikely to go elsewhere, in my view. And so they do not. You never would get in the food business, in my judgment, quite the inevitability that you would get in the soft drink business with a Coca-Cola. You'll never get it again in the soft drink business. I mean, it took 100. I guess the 1886, so it'd be about 111 years to get to the point where they are, and the infrastructure is incredible, and so I wouldn't put it quite in the same class in terms of inevitability. That doesn't mean it can be a better stock investment depending on the price, but you're not going to get the price from me. And knowing Charlie, I doubt if you'll get the price from him, but we'll give him a chance. He's breathing, folks. He's breathing.
We've got this down to a routine. No, I have nothing to add, Warren.
Okay.
Are there major differences in the investment characteristics between McDonald's and Dairy Queen? And if yes, would you explain them?
Yeah, there are major differences. McDonald's owns perhaps in the area of a third of all locations worldwide. I can't tell you the exact percentage, but if they've got 23,000 outlets, they own many, many thousands of them and operate them. And then of the remainder, they own a very high percentage and lease them to their operators, their franchisees. So they have a very large investment on which they get very good returns in physical facilities all over the world. Dairy Queen has, counting Orange Julius, 6,000 plus operations, of which 30 odd are operated by the company, and even those, some are in joint ventures or partnerships. So the investment in fixed assets is dramatically different between the two. The fixed assets investment by the franchisee or the person as landlord obviously is significant at a Dairy Queen, but it's not significant to the company as the franchisor. So that the capital employed in Dairy Queen is relatively small compared to the capital employed in McDonald's, but McDonald's also makes a lot of money out of owning those locations and receives, whereas Dairy Queen will in most cases receive 4% of the franchisee's sales in terms of a royalty. At a McDonald's, there's that more than that percentage plus rentals and so on. So they're two very different economic models. They both depend on the success of the franchisee in the end. I mean, you have to have a good business for the franchisee to over time have a good business for the parent company. Both companies have that situation to deal with. Charlie?
I've got nothing to add. The 4% is not very much when you stop to think about providing a group of franchisees with a nationally recognized brand and quality control and all sorts of desirable business aids.
No, 4% is at the low. If you look at the whole industry, 4% is in the lower part of the range. But
part of what attracted us.
Yeah.
Part of what attracted us was the fact that the charges to the franchisees are low at Dairy Queen.
A successful franchisee can sell his operation for significantly more than he has invested in tangible assets, and we want it that way, obviously, because that means he's got a successful business, and it means that over time we will have a successful business. You want a franchise operator. You want the franchise operator to make money, and you want him to create a capital asset that's worth more than he's put in it. That's the goal.
In your description of McDonald's, you have the sense that there's a great business buried in McDonald's, and there are two good businesses that are mixed in with it. And the problem is with the real estate and the operational business, that as the company is currently capitalized, they can't earn the same kind of returns they can earn in the franchising business. You were or still are a significant shareholder of McDonald's. I guess my question is, the solution is obvious. Why don't you push for a solution that creates the same opportunity you have at International Dairy Queen?
Well, my guess is, I don't know the details on it, but my guess is that with 23,000 locations all over the world, I think it would be extraordinarily difficult to separate the real estate business out from the franchising business at this point. I think they could have gone a different route. I'm not saying it would have been a better route at all. In fact, I think the odds are they followed the right route in owning and controlling so much real estate. But I just think the problems would be horrendous. Certainly you wouldn't want to sell it and lease it back, because you would not end up with more value, in my view, by doing that. And spinning it off in a real estate trust or something with operating in 100 plus countries and with all of the franchise arrangements, I think it would be a huge problem. I would not want to tackle it myself. So I think that you should look at McDonald's, and I don't know anything about their plans on this, but I think you should look at McDonald's as being a very good business, but the one that will continue in its present mode vis-a-vis the real estate, although I think they've signaled that they're going to do less on new properties, somewhat less in connection with ownership than they've done to this point. But there's 23,000 locations out there, and every operator, his own arrangement is very important to him, and it would be a mammoth job, and I'm not sure how much extra value would be created in the end anyway. Charlie?
Yeah, the net returns on capital McDonald's has earned all these years are high, even though they have owned a lot of the real estate. I think it's hard to quarrel with the way they did it. They had the best record.
And the multiple is not greatly different, in my view, than if the real estate were separate. I mean, now if you get all the real estate de-taxed in some arrangement, you might get a little more out of it, but it doesn't strike me as a big.
Enough appreciated.
If you and I own a McDonald's franchise together and it's worth $1 million and you own 50% of it and you come to me and you say, I'll sell out for 400,000, I'll buy you out. If you say 600,
I'd be wary of that.
yeah, well, you should be. You should be, yeah. But if you want 600,000, I'll just say, come back tomorrow. I'm on the way to the office. It's all of a 5-minute drive. I've been doing it for 54 years. One of the good things about this 5-minute drive is that on the way there's a McDonald's, so I'll pick up something. I'll have a sausage McMuffin with egg and cheese.
Anything else?
That's it, thank you. And I tell my wife, as I shave in the morning, I say either 261, 295, or 317. And she puts that amount in a little cup by me here. And that determines which of 3 breakfasts I get. Okay, 295. There's the 2. Doing, sir? Hey, great. You're on candid camera.
I see. Hello, everybody.
When I'm not feeling quite so prosperous, I might go with the 261, which is 2 sausage patties, and then I put them together and pour myself a Coke. Hi, how are you? 317 is a bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit. But the market's down this morning, so I think I'll pass up the 317 and go with the 295.
The question we get most frequently from people about you coming on is, what should they be buying right now? So if I say buy, you say?
Basically hold. I mean, the idea that the European news or a slowdown in this or that or anything like that, that would not cause you if you owned a good farm and had it run by a good tenant. You wouldn't sell it because somebody said, here's a news item, this is happening in Greece or something of the sort. If you owned an apartment house and you got to raise your rents a little, it was well located, and you had a good manager, you wouldn't dream of selling it. If you had a good business personally, the local McDonald's franchise, you wouldn't be thinking about buying or selling it every day. Now, when you own stocks, you own pieces of businesses, and they're wonderful businesses. You can pick the best businesses in the world. And to buy or sell on current news is just crazy. You're in a wonderful business. You got people running it for you. You know you're going to do well over 5 or 10 years. And to think news events should cause you to try and dance in and out of something that's a wonderful game is a terrible mistake. So get into a bunch of wonderful businesses and stay with them.